Picture the scene, asphalt blistering like the very floor of hell, the air thick with a heat that suffocates all life. Amidst this desolation, a flicker of white, but not a beacon of hope. No, this is the genesis of a waking nightmare. Draw closer and feel a visceral horror crawl up your spine. A tiny creature, a small white puppy, matted and filthy, lies contorted in unimaginable agony. But the true terror, a grotesque, living honeycomb has somehow grown, fused itself into its flesh, encasing nearly its entire body. Hundreds of bees, fiercely alive, are tormenting this fragile existence. Its eyes are squeezed shut in final despair, its mouth stretched wide in a silent scream locked forever in place, the small body racked by tremors in its death throes. The lens pans down, exposing the morbid structure in full, a parasitic prison of dark wax, cemented to the soiled fur, where hundreds of winged tormentors crawl, relentlessly draining the life from within. Their dense, insidious buzzing is a funeral dirge, drowning out any faint whimper that might escape the tortured creature. Utterly alone, abandoned, exposed beneath a merciless sun, awaiting an inevitable demise within its own insectal tomb. The lens pans down, exposing the morbid structure in full, a parasitic prison of dark wax, cemented to the soiled fur, where hundreds of winged tormentors crawl, relentlessly draining the life from within. Their dense, insidious buzzing is a funeral dirge, drowning out any faint whimper that might escape the tortured creature. Utterly alone, abandoned, exposed beneath a merciless sun, awaiting an inevitable demise within its own insectal tomb. And then, the horrifying reality crashes into view with brutal clarity. The image of the puppy, consumed by the living hive, sears itself into his consciousness. Brakes screech, tires bite asphalt. A frozen moment hangs heavy, primal fear warring against the raw, tearing cry of compassion. He stares into that small hell, a desperate, insane decision solidifying. A deep breath, a gamble against fate. No time for thought. He explodes from the car, abandoning safety, eyes locked on the horrific scene ahead. He bolts to the rear of the car, wrenching open the trunk lid. His eyes scan frantically, searching for a miracle, a tool, and then he sees it. The small fire extinguisher, red like a splash of blood, becomes the sole, desperate hope in this impossible fight. He grips it, a lifeline. He slams the trunk shut, rushing forward but keeping a fearful distance. The buzzing intensifies, a deafening wall of sound assaulting his senses. He advances cautiously, his shadow stretching long and ominous on the burning pavement. But the hive senses the intrusion. Warriors detach from the living mass, airborne aggressors launching themselves directly at the invader. The confrontation begins. He flinches back instinctively, raw fear etched on his face, but his feet hold their ground. He grits his teeth, pushing past the terror, raising the extinguisher like a fragile shield. A trembling but determined finger squeezes the trigger. A violent stream of white foam erupts, a desperate chemical assault aimed at the heart of the living nightmare, engulfing the grotesque structure. Chaos erupts. The bees are thrown into disarray, submerged in foam, their buzzing turning frantic, agonized. But this victory demands an excruciating price. Stings pierce his defenses, sharp, burning agony reminding him of his recklessness. Undeterred, he keeps spraying, a near-blind effort to quell the threat completely, before hastily dropping the canister. No time to waste. He rips off his denim jacket, or snatches it from the car, transforming it into the next tool of salvation. Plunging into the mess of foam and stunned insects, his hands, perhaps covered by sleeves, work with frantic speed yet attempt gentleness, pulling away chunks of soaked, sticky honeycomb from the tiny body. Then, swift as thought, he uses the jacket to envelop the puppy, a fragile bundle containing a flickering life. Inside the jacket, the puppy trembles like a leaf about to fall, utterly still, perhaps too weak even to struggle. He clutches the bundle tightly against his chest, his own heart hammering with adrenaline and fear. He casts a wary glance back at the remaining disoriented bees, swirling like lost souls, then turns and runs, a frantic sprint towards the car, his only sanctuary. He wrenches the passenger door open, placing the precious, fragile cargo onto the seat with agonizing care. The puppy remains unnervingly still, heartbreakingly small. He scrambles into the driver's seat, slamming the door shut, sealing their temporary escape pod. The key turns violently. The engine roars to life, shattering the oppressive silence, signaling the desperate flight. The car tears away like a wounded animal, leaving the scene of the nightmare shrinking in the rearview mirror. The long road ahead is now a race against death itself. He drives with laser focus, yet his eyes dart constantly, fearfully, towards the silent bundle on the passenger seat, terrified that each passing second might be its last. The beast's sting on his arm throbs, a burning, physical reminder of the battle fought, and the battle still raging against time. Finally, the veterinary hospital looms ahead, an oasis of hope in the desperate journey. The car screeches to a halt right before the entrance. He snatches up the bundle, bursting through the doors, breathless, face pale with anxiety. He gasps out the story to the receptionist nurse, his voice strained with exhaustion and fear. Professionalism takes over instantly. The nurse takes the special patient, disappearing swiftly behind the door marked emergency. The emergency door swings shut, a stark barrier between him and the fate of the creature he risked everything for. He stands frozen, a sudden, crushing wave of helplessness washing over him. He glances down at the angry red sting on his arm, the pain finally registering fully. The waiting room becomes a torture chamber of silence. He begins to pace, each step heavy with dread. The clock on the wall ticks with agonizing slowness, each second an eternity. Muffled sounds occasionally escape from behind the closed door, making him jump, hope surging only to be crushed again by the continuing silence. He runs a hand through his disheveled hair, his gaze fixed, unwavering, on that fateful door. Time stretches, bends, distorts. Others come and go, but he remains trapped in this limbo of waiting, fragile hope eroding under the weight of terrifying silence. And then, the door swings open. A moment that freezes time. He snaps upright, his heart lodged in his throat. A veterinarian in a white coat steps out, face unreadable. All his fear, all his desperate hope, converges on this single figure, awaiting the final judgment. The veterinarian looks at him, and a gentle, compassionate smile touches his lips. "It's okay," he says, the words like cool water on scorched earth. "We've handled it. He's going to be all right." The dam of emotion inside the man breaks. Relief, so potent it's painful, washes over him, tears streaming down his exhausted face. A choked thank you escapes his lips. At that moment, the nurse pushes a small medical trolley out from the emergency room. His breath catches again. There, nestled on the trolley, lies the puppy. Clean now, fluffy white fur visible, its hindquarters carefully wrapped in white bandages. No longer a creature consumed by horror, but a tiny, bandaged survivor, a miracle manifest. Its eyes are wide open, clear, taking in the world, then it looks up towards him, and a soft, clear whimper escapes its lips. The sound of life. Fresh tears flood the man's eyes, but these are tears of overwhelming, shattering joy.